This week's episode is going to be everything about burnout, which is really interesting because last week was about people pleasing, and I think people pleasing a lot can lead to burnout. So this episode just makes sense to happen next. So we are going to be talking about everything burnout. I want to get into a monster truck with you.
Why? Why?
Viewers, can you imagine Chris like picking me up in a monster truck and just like, get in, bitch?
Get in, bitch. Oh my God.
Welcome back to the Blonde Highlights podcast. If you are watching this on video, we have all new setups happening right now. Like we are taking Blonde Highlights to the next level. Chris, how are you doing this morning?
Oh my God. Okay, let's just say, yes, we've leveled up, but I have spent the past 3 hours with Michael trying to set up my whole new podcast studio. And let me tell you, nothing brings you closer to divorce than doing anything like technological with your partner, like setting up the mic, setting up the camera. He had to leave for a bit. I had like a full-on meltdown. It was a whole thing, but you know what? Here we are. I don't know where to look right now. So if you are watching, I'm looking all over the place because there's like such a huge setup around me. I don't know what's happening. My brain's not computing yet.
Yeah, and even if you aren't watching, you're listening on the audio, I think you'll be able to tell because I think the audio is an upgrade.
The audio is like the biggest upgrade I think I could have done. I'm now running off of a Shure microphone. And I personally don't know anything about microphones, but if you do, you know that I'm on like a top quality microphone, which shout out to Hunter McGrady, actually, who recommended this to me. I reached out to her to be like, my sound is off, and she suggested this. So thank you, Hunter.
Yeah, we need to have her as a guest.
Yeah, oh my God, I wonder if she'd come on.
I think she would. I think you got to call her up. Be like, hey, girl.
Hey, girl, get on here. You're blonde too. Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, but you were saying like you're almost a divorce setting up a microphone setup. Can you imagine me as my Virgo brain in that situation?
You would have like strangled me. You would have made me cry in this situation. Literally, it was so frustrating. A quick thing, we started upstairs in my bedroom where I normally am off my little Chromebook, and Michael was like, I don't know why you're not doing this in the basement. And I'm like, it won't work down there, whatever. Long story short, my microphone needs a program that will only run off of Windows, which is his whole gaming computer. Like this whole time I've had a whole nerd setup in my basement that I just haven't used. But he was like trying to convince me to come down here, and I was like yelling at him and the whole thing.
But no, I always laugh because every time I see like these videos of Beyonce when she's on stage and she's dancing and she's like, somebody's getting fired.
Yes.
Like somebody's getting fired.
Yes.
And like the way that she's just like kicking things on stage, and like her mom Tina, I saw her, she was on a daytime talk show, and she's like, she can get mean backstage. And I was like, yes, because we have very similar birthdays. I understand it.
Oh my God. I'm so happy that I didn't have to do this with you. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But we do have some exciting news, guys. Kyle is a viral superstar on TikTok.
Yeah.
Kyle, tell us about your viral moment. What is happening?
Well,
she's blown up.
Things are different now, okay? Because now I'm a TikTok celebrity. And like just like new respect over here, okay? Basically, I was like, I'm just gonna like do this another hustle where I'm like selling shit on TikTok. And I made a video about a bra, and it went like kind of viral for me. So it got like I think right now it's at like 350,000, but it keeps growing. We're gonna hit 1 million, and yeah, things are just different now.
Hit 1 million.
Yeah.
She's hired a whole PR team. Like she needs it now.
Yeah.
This is going to really just help elevate the podcast as well.
Exactly. And that's the thing is I keep trying to, I've made some videos this morning about like, we're filming the podcast. We got everything going on. And so, there's going to be a lot more viewers over here. So, and I'm just trying to keep up the content. That's the thing is like when you have one video go well, there was a lot of new followers, a lot of attention. And I'm like, I just got to keep racking out videos nonstop and keep people engaged and keep them staying on my page. And so that's like a lot of pressure. And it was like the busiest week ever, of course. So I had 20 million things going on. And then I'm just like at work and I'm like, I'm going viral on the internet right now, y'all. Like, I don't even know what's happening.
And you're like, I gotta cancel all my appointments. I'm viral. Like
Yeah.
I have more relevant shit I need to be doing. Sorry, I can't be here right now.
Yes. I was working like a 13-hour day and I was just like I kept checking in and I'm like, so then I got home and I'm like, I have to make more videos now. And so I'm on 3 hours of sleep, worked a 13-hour day, and I'm like all delirious in my room trying to make some content.
Oh my God. But you know, that's what you got to do. That's the pressures, I guess, of being like a viral sensation,
That's the
an
pressure right
internet
there.
celeb.
Internet celeb. You know what I saw? Speaking of Mama Tina, I saw that she called Jules after she did the very demure. Do
What?
you remember the very demure
Of
video?
course. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Mama Tina, Beyonce's mom, called Jules from the very demure and had like a whole conversation with her. So I'm waiting on my call from Mama Tina.
Oh my God, Mama Tina's gonna call you this week. I
Y-
feel it. It's in the air.
Yes, like the
It's just
350,000
coming your
views.
way.
It's almost there with the multi millions that the demure video got. So, we're up there. We're waiting on that call from Mama Tina and
Yeah.
maybe some tickets to go see Beyonce because she has a couple more shows here in LA this week.
Oh my God. I love that she has her daughters on stage.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you,
I
Blue
think,
Ivy is killing it on that stage. Like, if you look back at the videos of her from the very beginning of the Renaissance tour, which is like 2 years ago, she's doing okay, but you can tell she doesn't have a lot of the confidence there. And then it was like after that first show, you could tell she was just working her ass off to be better and better and better. And then even just like, and the 3 shows here in LA, she came in on that opening night and just killed that dance doing Deja Vu. Like,
mm-hmm.
and just like even in the shows since then, she's just getting better and better. And everyone's like, she is going to be a huge pop star.
Yes. And she is only 13 years old and she is able to bring it. And I'm like, when I saw her do her little catwalk moment, I was like, holy shit. She looks amazing. And I can't believe she's only 13.
I know. I was like, this is the daughter of the catwalk assassin. She is going to.
Literally.
But no, and she's taller than Beyonce too at 13, which is fun, kind of funny. But if you think about that with the Beyonce with Blue Ivy, she's 13 now, but by the time they go on tour for the part 3 tour, she will be at least 15 and
Oh, wow.
probably going on 16. And so I could see her starting a career after this 3-part tour series.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's going to be crazy to see what she does. She doesn't sing though, does she? Has she released anything?
There's no speculation of it, and everyone's saying she's holding back on the voice and she's getting her dancing chops right now.
Okay. Okay.
And you know what people said her first album should be called?
What?
Destiny's Child.
Chop it.
Right.
I have goosebumps. I'm covered. I'm
Right?
covered. This is full circle moment, guys.
Yes.
Full fucking circle moment. Oh my God. Do you know who needs to continue their tour?
Who?
I don't know if they're done or if they're just on a break right now. Sabrina Carpenter.
Get back on the road, girl.
Girl, get on a stage. Like, I need you on the stage right now. I haven't seen a new Juno position in months. I genuinely love when she's all over everything because my feed is everything Sabrina Carpenter. And I just love her aesthetic and I love everything. And my Instagram is so much prettier when she's just on tour. I need that in my life right now. I need that pretty pop of her.
Yes, you've been on tour for like 2 years straight because she was opening with Taylor Swift before all of this, and she's like, "You girl, get back out there. Sleep
Girl,
is for you
your
when you're
break is
old."
done. Yes. Wait till you're my age and then you can go to sleep. But for now, I need you to perform.
It has been a minute. She's gonna come out with some real cute shit soon. I'm sure. I'm sure there's so much pressure to come out with a new era after how big this has been.
Oh my God. I know she has another album or another song that hit 1 billion streams on Spotify.
Really?
It's 3 of her songs now have hit 1 billion streams.
That's insane. It's
1
insane.
billion.
1
I know.
billion.
1 billion.
I did see last night on TikTok a gender reveal, and I know you like to talk about the gender
God.
reveals.
Tell me, how bad was it?
This one is actually kind of good. Okay, so
Okay.
do you know Trisha Paytas?
Yes.
Okay, she did a gender reveal last night. She had a concert in LA at the Greek Theater, and she announced the gender at the Greek Theater. Her husband came out, and they like pushed down this little lever, and then like all the lights changed, and like confetti blew out, and it was a boy.
Oh, that's exciting.
But
That's fun.
yes, which was really funny about this is that when she had her first daughter, like it was like the week after Queen Elizabeth died.
Wow.
And so she has this baby, and everyone was like, okay, Lizzie, Elizabeth. You know what I mean? And so now, like, this is her third child. So every time she's had a child, like, there's been like a major world leader pass away. And everyone's
Oh
like,
no.
she's given birth. And I forget when the second child happened, who died. Somebody died right before, too. And they were like, it's going to happen. It's going to be.
Oh no.
Yes. So, okay. So this one is a boy. She's getting ready to give birth anytime, literally performing up until like she's like literally due. And the Pope just died. So
Oh my God.
she's having the Pope.
She's having the Pope. Oh my God. She has the Queen, the Pope, and we don't know who else.
I can't remember who the second
But I
child
bet
is.
it's iconic anyways.
Just
Oh my God. But you know what? That's a fun way to do it. I mean, she's a celebrity. She's in front of her people, whatever. But like, I'm just, I'm not for the big gender reveals. But this one makes sense to me,
yeah, this one totally made sense, I thought.
especially when you're giving birth to the Pope.
Yes, exactly. And Trisha Paytas has had plenty of gender reveals about her own self, anyways.
I love it. You know who I was watching a lot of on the weekend? I was catching up to Gypsy Rose Life after lockdown.
Oh,
Um, there's so much to unpack with Gypsy. There's so much to unpack. And I, in the most recent episode, she was feeling really bad for the way that she broke up with Ryan. And I was thinking about it and I was like, imagine being Ryan during that breakup. Like all of a sudden, she gets out of prison. You take her home with you. She fucking leaves, makes you get a dog first, then leaves, gets back with her ex-boyfriend, gets a tattoo, gets pregnant, and like that's it. Like, yeah, I don't know why, but like, I guess it's just because I'm so traumatized. I was dying laughing when I was watching the episode and just thinking of like, that's somebody's real life story. Like, this isn't like, to us, it's just like, oh wow, the celebrities are at it again. But like, that's Ryan Anderson's story. Like, that's his breakup story.
well, also the funny part is how many fiancés she had while she was still locked up.
I can't. This guy, though, he loves her.
Ryan
His
or Ken?
Yeah,
Ken is
Ken.
smitten for her, for sure.
Hmm.
Loves her to
Hmm.
pieces. And I kind of like, they're kind of cute together. Like, is Ryan still doing
Yeah.
live streams?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is he still
But
crying on the live?
I don't know. Like, that's what I mean. It's like this was his life. What is your highlight?
Okay, so my highlight this week is obviously about being a TikTok celebrity now.
Life
Yeah, I
is
mean,
different. Life is different.
life is different. I was talking to my mom last night. I'm like, just so you know, like if I'm coming to town, it's going to be a little different. You know, we may have to get security. Like you're gonna have a, TikTok sensation in your household. So I was just like warning her, telling her to get ready for that because I do plan on going home sometime this summer. And so yeah, that's definitely my highlight for sure.
You need to remind Angie, like, don't be throwing anything of your childhood things out now because those could be auctioned off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Those
wonder
could be in a museum, eBay, anything now.
exactly. She's gonna be hawking off photos of me as a kid.
Oh my God.
She's like, my little boy.
I bet you were the fucking cutest kid. Like, just so shy. I wish I need to see photos of you.
Just so shy and so cute and just so sad.
Just so sad. Stop. Stop. Oh my God.
My favorite photos of me as a kid is I had some paintbrush bangs.
Oh
She needed a
no.
bang, you know what I mean? She wanted a head shave. I had a whole shaved head moment, but with bangs.
Oh no.
Just a
Oh
nice
my
little.
God. Like a bang mullet.
Yeah, is that a bang mullet?
You know what? I had a mullet. I had a curly on top hair and then like long at the back fucking mullet
I mean,
when
that
I was
was the
like 4 years
look.
old. Yes.
That was the look. I bet you had a bowl cut too.
I had a somewhat of a sort of bowl cut when I was like 2, 3 years old. Yes, there was some sort of bowl cut thing happening. And then it grew out and flourished into a mullet.
Okay, my low light is also a little bit of a highlight, but it's a low light when you really think about it. And that
Okay.
is that I got my cosmetology license on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 18 years ago.
Oh my God.
So that means, because I went to cosmetology school in high school, that means I graduated high school 18 years ago.
Oh, Kyle.
That means I could have a child in college.
Oh my God. Okay, you're like actually like gonna panic attacks. We're having a midlife crisis live online here. 18 years?
Yes.
Girl, no.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
And just where I'm from, and you're gonna think, oh, well, you're not old enough to have a child in college because you would have just graduated high school. I'm from a small town. 18 is a little late to be having children there.
My mom had me 16. I get it. My mom was the OG teen mom.
My high school was nicknamed the maternity ward.
Stop it right now. The
Yes.
maternity ward.
Yes.
Stop.
And my senior year of high school, we had no senior cheerleaders because they were all either involved in crime, rehab, or they were raising a family.
They were family women. They had things to do. There were kids that needed to be raised.
Yes. But
Oh
that
my
is,
God. I wonder what
mm-mm.
kind of burnout they're experiencing now.
Can you
Those teen
imagine?
moms.
Well, honestly, can you imagine being like, I'm 35 years old, kids out of the house. She's still hot, looking rich. She can go hit the club.
She gets her life back.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. No. She's not having burnout. She's having reverse burnout. She's reclaiming her life at
Exactly.
35. Oh my God. Ugh, I should have followed in my mom's footsteps. I've done it ass backwards.
Exactly. You could have been done by
Okay,
now.
exactly. We're just getting started though. Things will
What's
start working down there.
yes. What's your highlight and low light?
Okay, highlight this week is obviously my new podcast setup. Okay. I'm just so excited about it. I can't wait to listen to this episode to see how the sound has come out. Kyle knows that I also had a meltdown about my sound quality a few weeks ago. Yeah, it caused a little rift between us for about 2 hours, and it was a whole ordeal. But you know what? We solved the problem. We didn't dwell, we solved.
No, it literally, literally.
Literally, that's what we had to do.
We,
And so that's my highlight is getting all of this set up. Low light though, oh my God, I had a Karen moment on the weekend, like a full blown Karen moment. So long story short, I took my uncle, he's my dad's brother. He has some like mental special needs, and I took him to go see the monster trucks, and he's never seen them before, whatever. So we were able to go and ride the monster trucks. Okay. So he's like 55 years old or something. So we're in like, yeah, I have my whole like Talladega moment. Okay. So we are in line and I have him with me, and because I'm going to take him to ride a monster truck. And this woman and her kids start coming in from the side and like barging in. And they're only taking the first, I think it was like 25 or 50 people. And so she's getting in front of me, and they've already taken a whole bunch of people in. And she, like, her kid finally just like gets right to the front and is about to step in. And like Karen just came right at me. I was like, excuse me. Excuse me. There are 4 of you, and you have all just butted all of us. We have been, and I just went off. And she's like, oh, come on, you're adults. And I was like, it does not matter. who we are. We have been waiting in this line and we are paying customers, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, your kids don't have a right. And it was just like a whole thing. And I lost it because I was like, you're not going to take away from my Uncle Billy. Your
No.
little snot-nosed brat isn't going to take away from my Uncle Billy who's been waiting patiently in line here. He's going to ride the monster truck.
Well, they
And
got
so we
plenty of
did.
time to ride the monster truck.
Yes, plenty of time. Man, I spent 90 fucking dollars to go on this monster truck ride, and it literally pulled us away from where we loaded, and maybe like 30 feet, not even, did like 3 donuts, and then brought us right back.
Hell yeah.
We were on that monster truck for 2.5 minutes.
Oh. Did you get to crush anything?
No, he just drove us in circles for like a minute.
Now, what I do need to know is do you have photos of you in said monster truck?
Yeah, I have a video of me screaming in the monster truck.
Hell yeah. What
Yes,
were you wearing?
yes.
What were you wearing? I need to know
Okay,
this to
so
see this.
I was wearing, it was supposed to rain, so I was wearing my like beige sort of like long raincoat, and she did her hair in braids, and then I wore a green camo hat.
Oh my god, she was full character.
Oh, I went full character. I'm telling you, I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, this is Uncle Billy's moment, but this is also my moment too, because there's a theme happening and I get to dress up for it, which is rare.
Hell yes. I love to get dressed up for a theme. I just like I want to get into a monster truck with you.
Why? Why?
Could you viewers, can you imagine Chris like picking me up in a monster truck and she's like, get in, bitch.
Get him, bitch. Oh my God. Well, here's the thing is that like I told one of my girlfriends I went on it and she's like, you won't do like X, Y, and Z, but you'll get in and ride a monster truck. I'm like, I do have some grit to me. Like I can have a little bit of fun like that. It was so much fun. I had a blast. Hold on, let me see. Like I'll show you right now.
Okay.
Here I am. Show.
Okay, yeah, that is fully in the look. She was in the look.
Yeah, she was in the look. Like she looked cute. Like
Yes.
this is me like riding in the monster truck. There we go.
Now, how did
There
you
we
get
go.
up into the monster truck? That's what I want to know.
They had to let stairs down.
Is it like
They
a ladder?
let us.
Or
Yeah, no, it was like a staircase that you could go down, and then it had roped sides.
okay. Because I know,
Yeah.
like, just being from the country, the country people like to make a monster truck.
Oh yeah,
They like to take their Dodge or their Ford truck and they like to make it a monster truck, jack that up to Jesus. And
Yeah.
it's like this competition of how impossible it is to get into the car. And
Mhm.
my older brother had this like crazy truck for a while, and I would have to like run and jump. And he would have to like, I would like run and jump and then like dive in, and he would have to like grab my arm from the other side and like pull me up into it.
My dad had a truck like that, and the seats in the back faced backwards. So I would be facing everyone behind us when we were driving. Like, I'm telling you, man, my childhood was wild.
I thought that was exclusive to the station wagons.
No, there were monster trucks like that too.
Hell yeah.
It was probably illegal. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. In America, well, in the United States, they wouldn't do that because you got to have room for the gun rack.
Oh my God, stop it. Stop. Oh my God. That reminds me. Have you ever watched, hold on, gun rack? Whenever I hear the word gun rack, I always instantly think of Wayne's World. Have you seen that movie at all? One.
Yes, I have. Yes.
When's the last time you've seen Wayne's World?
Forever. And I can't even remember any quotes.
No, Wayne's World, you need to rewatch it. It is so funny. I rewatched it probably like 2 months ago, and I was just like laying in bed and I was dying laughing, and I was like, they are the OG influencers. Like when you go back and watch it, Wayne's World are the OG influencers. They were like YouTubers of the 90s. So fucking funny, this movie. And if you watch it, you'll know why Gun Rack always reminds me of Wayne's World. But anyways, Kyle, you need to watch it.
I will. My roommate's been watching Beavis and Butthead.
Oh my God. My brother and I used to watch that all the time. Oh, it's so funny. I'm gonna watch it with him when I'm there. Tell him I want to watch it with him.
Okay, I'll tell him.
Yes. Tell him because yeah, guys, I'm gonna be here in like less than a week.
That's
A week
right.
today, I'll be.
You
Yeah.
are coming. Yeah, a week from today, you'll be here, and it's going to be. Yeah, I gotta keep on cleaning. I gotta get things ready.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get things
You
ready
better get
for.
ready.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And just like you know what I mean? I just don't want to get like too overwhelmed and get burnout.
Oh my God. Yeah, I guess we should start talking about our topic. Hey, we're just a couple chatty Cathys today.
Yes, yes, we had a lot to talk about. Can you imagine? You just show up and there's like a pigsty, and I'm like, sorry, burnout.
All right, burnout. And then I'm just supposed to be patient. Girl, hell no. Hell
No.
no.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. There's all different kinds of burnout. There's mental burnout, physical burnout. There's burnout from work. There's burnout from carrying the mental load, which is what I feel I face all the time. What kind of burnout do you have going on?
I think I have ADHD burnout sometimes.
Okay, what is that?
So ADHD burnout is basically like I have some listed here how that goes, but it is just like it's well because when you're like when you have ADHD, a lot of times, do you know what I mean? You're getting sidetracked. Every lot's happening. You're going to so like the ADHD burnout cycle is basically like you take on like way too much responsibility with things, and then you just like the ADHD kicks in and you're like overcommitted, you're doing too many things at once. This is all happening, and then like you're falling off track, you're not getting things that need to be done, and it's all getting behind, and then you get stressed about it, and that's like really crazy when you just get all this stress, and then you get like kind of like unhealthy coping mechanisms with it, and then before you know it you've like given up and you're like I don't want to even do this, and then you feel
Mm,
guilty because you've given up and you're not getting all this stuff done. So then what you do is then you overcommit to more things, and then the cycle continues. And so you have to
mm,
make sure you're, I think with ADHD burnout, you want to make sure, you know, you're following a like a schedule, not like a routine is really good for that. And but basically it's the same kind of burnout where it just is like you've just had enough basically, and your body is just like shutting down from it like any other kind of burnout.
well, I feel like too, the way you're describing it is that it's almost a vicious cycle. Like you're taking on so much, you're doing whatever, and then all of a sudden, like you can't do it, but you want to keep going. So then, in order to kind of compensate for the guilt that you're feeling, then you're just going to keep on taking on more. So it's like this crazy, vicious cycle. And I think that in itself is just exhausting. I feel like I feel like I've experienced that. Like I've never been diagnosed with ADHD or anything like that, but I feel like I've kind of experienced that too, especially when it comes to having to commit to things, say for the kids, having to commit to things for work and doing so much at once that then while I'm tackling all these other things, all my other responsibilities are taking the back seat. And then all of a sudden I'm realizing that. So then I have to start focusing on those responsibilities while still managing the things that I have, while still managing the mental load of myself, the kids, the husband, the businesses, the house, all of these things. And then I just reach a complete breaking point. And then because I feel guilty that I've taken some time off, I do the exact same thing and I start overcommitting and I just go right back into it.
Yeah, and with last week's episode being about people pleasing, that's why I thought it was a good introduction into this because a lot of times people pleasing is will lead to burnout because you're putting yourself last and you're putting everyone else's stuff ahead of yourself, and then you're overcommitting. You're never saying no. You're always doing what everyone wants, and before you know it, you've had zero time for yourself, no time to take care of yourself. You've taken on too much, and the natural instinct is to burn out and then to kind of withdraw from society a bit because you're allowing everyone, you're people pleasing and allowing everyone to take advantage of you.
Yeah. And I think too, like with the different types of burnout, I think that there's a lot of pressure too. I think there's a lot of pressure of hustle culture. So I think that even on top of what you're already doing, which is consuming so much of your time, so much of your energy, there's also this pressure that we're seeing in society in general, but as well as all over social media, that more is more is more. So as much as you're doing enough, are you doing enough? Like you should have a side hustle. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that, as well as following into all the trend pressures. So you go online or you're out and about and you see certain things and it's like, okay, your skin your skin your skin routine should look like this. Your bedtime routine should be like this. You need to have a fitness routine. Well, here's your meal plan. You have to keep up with this. You have to be eating X amount of protein. You have to be doing meal prep. You have to be, so there's all these additional things on top of our everyday life responsibilities and commitments that also play a factor where it's like sometimes it's even too much for our brains to handle and function. And I feel like this is a big part of the problem with social media right now, is I feel like there's this whole concept of everybody showing their routines, or everybody has all this knowledge all of a sudden that they're pushing on people without anything to back it. And it's causing people to purchase more, buy more, get these, what are they called? The downloaded guides. Everybody's selling a guide on how to do things. So it's like so much information overload all the time.
Yeah, and if you even want to try to keep up with those influencers who are managing that routine, first of all, that routine is their job.
Hmm.
So that's how they're able to do that. You don't know what time they're starting that routine either, but you got to remember too, like if they're following this routine, like everything is scheduled and planned and they are following it and it works. But if you're living in your absolute chaos and you're trying to accomplish all of those things in an unorganized way, it's just going to be chaos in your head. You're not going to get enough done. You're going to start to hate yourself or be mad at yourself because you can't do all this. And you're like, I'm not as good as a human as these people because can do all of this. And so if you really want to try to do all that overcommitment and all those things, you really do have to make sure you have a schedule and you are following an absolute routine, or it's just going to be a hot mess disaster and you're going to get burnout from that. Um, One of the biggest ways that I experienced burnout at the first time was becoming a hairstylist. You know, like I started out and building a clientele in the hair world. It can be extremely hard, especially in a place like Los Angeles, where I like to call it the Olympics of hair, because people come from all over the world to be a hairstylist. And there's also this pressure of this like LA, Beverly Hills, Hollywood hairstylist to do all of this stuff. And when you're building that clientele, you kind of have to say yes to everything. And you don't, it's just this point where you start to put yourself very much last because you're like, yes, I'll get you in, I'll get you in. And you don't want to turn down money. So you say yes to everything. You're dealing with difficult people. You're doing way too much. The producer's laughing because it's like when you're running a business, this is what happens. You can't say no to stuff. And so you become this absolute people pleaser who says yes to everything. You overcommit. And before you know it, you have zero personal life
Yeah.
outside of this small business. And that burnt me out so bad. And then when it started to happen and when I got to a place where I was fully booked and it was really busy, it was completely not, I wasn't able to keep up with that demand and still say yes to everything and always overcommitted because you are just exhausted and there's like nothing left to you and you have no choice but to be completely burnt out and start to resent your
Yeah.
business and you start to resent your success and you start to resent your clients and everything else. And so if you're not following a healthy balance with it, you are going to get burnout and it's going to hurt you in the end. That burnout can destroy your business.
Hmm. Well, I've experienced it too in modeling, let's say, where especially when I was busy all the time and I would be flying from here to here to here to here to here all the time, like so many flights in a week because I couldn't say no to the work and I didn't want to piss off my agents. I didn't want to lose the clients. I didn't want anything. But I was taking on so much that then sometimes when I was showing up to the sets, I was so tired that I wasn't even performing to the standard that I need to be. Like I was just like low energy. I wasn't fulfilling my role the best that I could. So I had to start saying, like, I can't do like 4 red eyes in a row. Like, there was one week I had to go to New York to Vegas to LA, then back to New York, all red eyes in a row, like ridiculous. And after that, like, they wanted me to kind of, I was, something was happening where I was doing like almost the same set of red eyes. And I was like, I can't do this because I don't want to show up and just be half assed. But again, that all kind of coincides with the whole people pleasing thing where it's like you need to learn for yourself when to say no and that it's okay to turn down certain things, especially if you're going to get this burnout. Like for me, I start to notice burnout when I all of a sudden I physically I will start shutting down a bit and I'll realize that like it'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I am exhausted. And then what happens is after a few days of that, I mentally start checking out. Like mentally, my mind is just so all over the place and I know I'm going to hit a peak. And so what I've had to do for myself is I'm like, I need to schedule in time that's not scheduled in a way of like a routine or scheduled in a way that's also going to help me burn out, but making sure that I'm stopping and doing things for myself or allowing myself to get extra rest if I need it. Because I'm somebody, I need a lot of rest and I've had to come to terms with that. And I've really struggled with that because I don't want to be a person that needs a lot of rest. I want to be able to get up at 6 a.m. and stay up till 11. Like if I do that, I'm dead. I'm dead for like 3 days. But I have so much guilt with allowing myself to take extra rest, or if I decide to have a nap, I'm like, I'm so hard on myself. Like I treat it like it's the worst thing I could be doing, but I have to allow myself when I have so much stuff going on to really prioritize my rest.
Exactly. And that's another thing with burnout. When you're having burnout symptoms, it can be even harder to get that rest because you
Hmm.
come home and you just want to be in that like reality of the disassociation. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
a lot of my insomnia comes from me disassociating from the reality that I've put myself in when I'm feeling burnout. And so I stay up way
Hmm.
too late because I'm trying to have that time to myself late at
Yep.
night. And then the next day you're exhausted, you haven't had sleep, and that just furthers the burnout. And I notice like there's a lot of like I start to get really depressed, I start to get really irritable, I start to, just be like a negative Nancy.
Hmm. No, I totally get that. Like, especially as a parent, I feel like my days from the moment I wake up until I go to bed are all about the kids. Even when they're at school or whatever, there's so many things that I'm organizing during the days and everything that have to revolve the kids. Or I could be out doing something like last week, I got 2 calls from the school for something. Like my days are always surrounded by the kids. And then, at the end of the day, you're right. I find myself where I'm staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning listening to my audiobook or doing something because I just want my me time. So I've had to learn that like I have to sometimes cut out and block out time during the week dedicated specifically for my me time because otherwise I'm like you, I'm like up all hours of the night just trying to take that time for myself.
Exactly. And when I'm feeling burnout too, like cognitively, I'm not as sharp and I'm making like stupid mistakes and little things are going wrong. And I definitely my creativity is reduced. Like I'm not nearly as creative when I feel that way. Like the creativity just like seeps out of you. And again, this is like it's a lot of self-sabotaging, but you almost like can't stop yourself from self-sabotaging. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I hate myself and I don't want to do this or whatever, but it's just like that, like the cognitive dissidence or whatever, the cognitive decline from it, and the lack of creativity, and all of those things just kind of compound, and you're just like not performing very well.
Because you mentally just don't give a shit anymore. Like cognitively, when I'm burnt out, I'm a toddler. Like I go into a complete toddler stage and phase. Like I'm grumpy. I'm actually cranky. I am snappy. I'm not eating right. And I find that I want more comfort food. So my diet becomes imbalanced. I'm melting down. I cry. I'm like a baby. like literally just put me to bed. Like
Exactly.
I'm fucking done. I need a nap and that's it. And like this is something that like my husband and I have had to kind of work through is because he's always in the kitchen. He's always working. He's the, you know, the face of the business. He's the forerunner of the business, right? So he gets up super early and he can go until all hours of the night and then be back up. And that's just how his body works. And there have been times where I've tried to keep up with him and he's like, you cannot keep up and that's okay. Like you need to go to sleep. Like you are not good for anyone when you're overtired and completely burnt out. And like I had to just accept that because it's true. If I'm getting up and I'm trying to live somebody else's lives and do their routines and keep up with them for whatever reason, I'm not fulfilling my needs physically, mentally, emotionally, anything. I'm just like burning out. And it's a lot. And there's a lot of mental burnout that goes into being a parent as well, because you're carrying the mental load for everything to do with your kids, to do with doctor's appointments, sports, teachers, like homework, everything. Like there's just so much that's constantly in your forefront, and there has to be a point where like you just kind of shut off.
And that's the thing is like everyone's threshold for what they can accomplish in a day with a great amount of sleep and all that kind of stuff is different. And so you really
Yeah.
just don't feel guilty if yours is different or less or whatever than other people because it's not healthy to be just like constantly going. But you were saying about the eating, and that's a big thing for me is that I have struggled with eating disorders, but definitely with binge eating. And my binge eating is me searching for that dopamine. When it feels like the dopamine has been sucked out of life, I'm searching for that. And whether that dopamine comes in the form of needing it for alcohol, like people turn to drinking too much, they turn to other substances to get that
Mm-hmm.
dopamine rush when they're just not getting it through day-to-day life because they're burnt out. And for me, it was drinking and then it turned to binge eating. And so it can be hard to, because then if you start gaining weight, you start feeling not as good about yourself. You're feeling sluggish because you've ate too much and you're, inflamed or whatever. Like those all things even contribute to the furthering of burnout.
Yeah. No, there's so many elements to it. And I think everybody burns out differently. And I think that there's a way that you have to learn how to recognize in yourself when you're burning out and what your habits are and the stages that you're in. Because again, it's like all of these things I feel fall under such a societal pressure, like the guilt of taking a nap. Well, I think that guilt comes from the hustle culture of more is more is more. Like, you see all those things where it's like when I'm sleeping or when you're sleeping, I'm banking. Like, you know what I mean? Where
Yes.
it's like I'm up at 5 a.m. doing XYZ. And it's like, dude, like I physically can't. You know what I mean? But it's like I feel like cutting out that pressure and just realizing like that is social media and that is that person's life. And that person doesn't have X, Y, and Z that you have in your own life going on. So you need to keep to your own bubble when it comes to your own resistance and like your threshold. Like you're right. Like you need to know your threshold.
Exactly, because everyone's is different, and I went through a major burnout in my life, and how it happened is because like was saying earlier about work, I was like building this clientele, and I was saying yes to everything, and in my head, I was like your husband, where I was just like. There's no limit. I can do as much as I can do. I can party till 5 a.m. every freaking night and get up at 8 a.m. and go to work all day. And I can take as many classes as I can do in a day. And I can try to maximize everything and then continue to party on top of working, not working, nonstop, always just going. And I did that for a very long time. And then I started to get fully booked at work, which was the goal all along. But then once I got that, it was too much to handle with everything else was happening. And then I started to have thyroid problems. And then the thyroid problems turned into fatigue and exhaustion and weakness. And mind you, I had never had a limit or a threshold, I felt like, of what I could do in a day. And I started to, and then I turned to chronic pain. And so now I have all of these career pressures. And the thing is because of my people pleasing, I wasn't raising my prices. I wasn't charging accordingly for the time and everything else. And so I hit this point where like I'm like I hit my dream like in my job, but I'm like unfulfilled because I'm not making enough money. I'm doing okay financially, but I should be more financially stable considering everything that's happening. And now I feel
Yeah.
like shit all the time. And it was just like the joy had been sucked out of everything. And that was like one of the deepest, darkest burnouts of my life. And I like to compare depression to like you're stuck in a hole and you're trying to climb your way out of there. And to get out of depression, you have to really make a conscious mindset of like, I'm going to dig myself out of this hole. But like with
Yeah.
burnout, it's like an even deeper hole because you do have the depression, but then you have this complete burnout. And so it's like being stuck in a well and you're trying to get out of that well. And it can be really hard to get out of burnout.
It is really hard because you don't have the mental capacity or strength to want to fight for yourself. Like when you're so burnt out, it's like even if you're recognizing it, it's like you're so tired, you don't want to get up. You know what I mean? Like I need days, and I know that there's this whole bed rotting culture right now where, people are like, it's so bad for you, you shouldn't be doing this. I need to bed rot at least once a month. I need a day where I'm in bed and I'm not doing anything and I can just watch TV, I can work from my computer, I can do whatever, because for me, that's the biggest form of self-care for me. Like if
Mhm.
I'm going on a trip or I'm doing whatever, like I need to have a day after where I'm just like in bed and I can just shut everything down and it recharges me. Like just one day of bed rot is what I need. And I've had to learn that. And I've tried to fight that. And I've tried to, like not admit that that's something that I like because I feel shame because of the internet. But like, fuck that. I need a bed rot day. Like I can eat in bed. I can be in bed all day.
Same, same. That's like I love the bed rot as well, and I like to sleep
Mhm.
in. I slept till 2 p.m. yesterday because I needed it.
Nice.
I needed
You
it
needed it.
because I was getting
Mm-hmm.
burnt out because I had been going too much, overcommitted, and was exhausted. And so I was like, I need to sleep till whenever I wake up. I'm not setting an alarm. And I trust me, I wanted to bed rot the rest of the day. But there was just too
Yes.
much that I needed to get done. I had to I needed to really give my sheets a good bleaching because you're coming next week and I need to get any food stains out of my sheets for when I have been bed rotting in bed.
Yeah, let's get those stains out of the sheets, Kyle.
She just dropped some pasta sauce.
She's got the pasta. She's got the red hots.
Yes, but I do think like getting out of burnout can be very complex. And I think it's like you definitely have to set goals and then really start practicing self-respect and really start making sure you're following your limitations and that because you want to do as much as possible because once you're in that burnout to not only just get back to where you were but to get back to thriving can seem like climbing a mountain. And
Yes.
so you need to get organized. You need to complete really great self-respect for yourself. You need to, and not even in a weight loss way, but make sure you're getting proper nutrients and eating a balanced diet so that you feel your best because you need to have your superpower strength to get yourself out of this deep well. You know what I mean? And then get to the point of thriving and follow your goals, set goals that are reasonable goals. Don't overdo the goals and force yourself into further burnout because you feel like you're so far behind. Set reasonable goals to achieve. Have your end goal in mind, like your plan, the dream that you're working towards, and just stay focused on that.
Mm-hmm. You got to set boundaries for yourself. Again, boundaries.
Yeah, and I
Learn when to
feel
say no, learn your threshold, and play within your boundaries.
yeah. And another thing I think I should have brought up earlier, but with the burnout becomes when you do too much like this, it can be very isolating because before you know it, you haven't had time for your family. You haven't had time for like your friends. And so before long, your friends and your family are like, she don't like me. Like she's like completely not even paying attention to me. And, and then of course you're like, I'm working, I'm doing all this stuff. And they're like, we all work. We're all doing stuff, but when you're overdoing, like, you're going to push yourself into the self isolation, which furthers the burnout.
Yes. Pushes you down into that well, deep down into
Exactly.
the well.
Exactly. And you got to climb out of that well, like the girl
You got to
from.
climb out of that well, and you need to reach out for help. You need to lean on support. You need, maybe sometimes you need more support. Maybe you know, someone that you're living with, maybe they need to help out a little bit more. Maybe there's things that you can, communicate with, say, your spouse or whatever, and be like, look, I'm experiencing burnout. I'm going to need you to jump in and help with X, Y, and Z. Or, maybe there's a conversation about dynamic and things that need to be done to help lower, like, all of your responsibility. Obviously, like, not all the time, but whatever, when you need it, or if you do need it all the time. But I think that there's communication that needs to help in order for you to get support if you need it.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? The Ring, that movie, The Ring, where that girl with the crazy hair pull climbs out of the well and she tries to take everyone out.
I've been thinking of that movie ever since you brought up Well.
Yeah,
I have
same.
been picturing her in my head the whole entire time.
Was that an
Oh my
entire
God.
analogy? Was that an entire like thing of like just she was burnt out?
She's burned out.
She was burnt out. She climbed out of the well and was just like, I'm just gonna make everyone else's life hell. Like everyone's going to pay.
She was literally just like fucking fighting for her life. Like, she had to not only climb out of the well, she had to climb out of like TVs and stuff.
Yes.
Everyone's so scared of her. She's like, guys, I'm just tired. I don't know why everyone's dying around me. It's not my fault. But oh, she was so tired she couldn't even move her hair away from her face. She was like, I don't care. No one should see. You know what? This whole time she was probably just embarrassed of what she looked like. She only had one outfit. Like,
She'd been bedrotting.
why is it like, why does my brain work like this? Like, as soon as you say well, instantly my head, The Ring.
I don't think I ever watched the movie because listen, she's lived through it. She's lived through enough horror movies. I don't need to watch the horror movies because I'm scared of the dark already.
Well, no, this isn't a horror movie. This is a real, honest
Yes.
documentary.
Yes.
Documentary now.
About her burnout. But I watched it. Do you remember the parodies in Scary Movie?
Like Scary Movie 1, 2, and 3 with Anna Faris?
Yes.
Yes. Those are like my favorite movies ever.
When they're like fighting her.
Stop it. I grew up watching those movies. They were my favorite. Like that and Not Another Teen Movie. So funny. Oh my God.
Why don't we do the parodies as much anymore? That's sad.
I know. They need to come out. Like, Anna Faris needs to get back into that little, what do they call that?
Oh, there's a remake coming. It's
No.
coming. Yeah.
Stop. How do you, is that Mark? I can see in the reflection. Is that Alex telling
Yeah,
you?
yes, yeah.
Oh my, is that going to be number 5 or number 6?
It's like a rebrand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm excited. That's
Okay,
exciting.
I'm excited. We have something to look for. You heard it here first, guys.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
Breaking news from Blonde Headaches Podcast.
Oh my God.
Our episode on
amazing.
Burnout has turned into scary movies coming.
Because that's the real raw reality of it.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Amazing. Well, guys, I think that this concludes our burnout episode. I hope you guys don't burn out. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week. I think next week we actually start recording with our guests. So I will be in LA in the studio with Kyle. So don't forget to follow our socials. And yeah, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.